Morning everybody, Tim, Football Vagabond. Hope you're all well. My friends, family back in England and the UK, I hope you're all keeping warm because I've heard the weather's pretty cold. Over here it's absolute total opposite, it's too hot, between 30 and 40 degrees. So yeah, I feel like a roast chicken. Anyway, so my conversation today, first of all, introduction. So it's Tim Slack. My email is timothy_slack@hotmail.com. Reach out to me and have a chat with me. I've had a few comments about people saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." So I'm happy with that because it's nice to have comments, plus or minus. But I would say my introduction is I've been involved in football for over 60 years. 60 years, so from being a little kid kicking the ball around with my dad, and then playing with players, friends, kicking the ball around on my own. So the game's been in my heart and in my blood for many years. And a couple of my achievements, not that I'm boasting, but I might as well put it out there for the doubting Thomases. I've played professional football, so I know the discipline required, I know the processes needed, and I know how committed and dedicated you have to be. So I know about that, okay? You have to have a huge commitment. So also, I've played semi-pro, and I played to my 37th year, and I've not always lived in Perth. I've lived most of my life. Actually, it's a good question. No, I've lived I've lived all over the world in different places, but I've lived a long time in Australia, back and forth, and so I played into my 37th year, and I was being paid for that. So that's an achievement in itself, as far as I'm concerned. I've got nothing to prove, but I still got a lot to share. So as you can see with my YouTube channel, it's not just about me, a face talking about football, but nearly every man and his dog's doing it, so I might as well have a bit of a go at that as well. But I've got some young players that I've been coaching on one-to-one, and I'm using the YouTube, if you like, to try and track their journey and give them an opportunity, give them a chance to become good players. So I've coached tens of thousands of players, from little kids to youth players to senior players, and I really enjoy it, and that's a big passion now. And I've also worked at or coached at All Athletic School of Excellence, and young at the time, young James Tarkowski was with me in the under nines. So for a season, I had James and some of his colleagues were at the time almost as good as James, but James is a standout player and he's gone on to do great things, so well done. I've also worked at Man United soccer schools. I've worked at Sir Bobby Charles International Soccer School. That was fantastic down at Hotwood Hall College. I've worked at Blackburn Rovers, so I've been at Blackburn Rovers as a scout and a coach, which was good, and I enjoyed that. That was a really good process there, learning about the talent ID and things like that. I've also had my own coaching school, Pro Sport Football, and I had that for a number of years. And kids came to me, young kids came, and they enjoyed it. And I tried to create an environment where they would learn first and foremost, and I tried to educate the parents as best I can. And I know I did okay because I've had quite a few comments, pluses, from players now who at the time were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age, and now they've got qualifications, they're accountants, and they've got good jobs, and they said, "Oh, Tim, we enjoyed our time at pro football." Oh, and a little shout out there was a young boy at the time, really young kid, was a little Ryan Rydell, and I played with his dad Steve. Really top family, Steve, Janice, and Ryan. Now Ryan's at Stockport County, so Ryan's doing really well, and I watched him the other week at the FA Cup. He played in the FA Cup against Crystal Palace, and so it's great to see these players, and that's really, if you like, that's a fantastic reward for me. So having said that, then I came over to Australia. I played professionally in Asia. I played in Malaysia for a season, which was my dream. So if I can do it, any player can do it, but you have to work hard. And then I came here. I've worked for Football West here as a development officer. I've coached thousands of kids here in the school programs going into schools, and I've also upskilled coaches, which indirectly was for Football Federation Australia. So like I said, I do know what I'm talking about. So just quickly want to touch on a couple of things. I made a couple of notes just to try and get myself so I don't lose track. And what it is, I just can't believe how poor Man United are. And I put Man United and say, so you got Man United, look at Man United, look at Brighton, look at Bournemouth, look at Nottingham Forest. Who else did I write down? Did I say Bournemouth? Yeah. Anyway, so what it is, how can United, with all the resources, the fame, the history, and everything that they have, be so poor? And you can't just blame the players. It's right from the owners for me. It's right from the owners all the way down or all the way up, whichever way you want to look at it. So the owners are not up to it. They don't know what they're doing. The coach, nice guy, but he's out of his depth. You know, no disrespect. Portuguese football, brilliant. But how can you compare the intensity of Portuguese football over a season compared to the English Premier League, the hardest league in the world? You can't. And so now he's stuck in his mindset to be able to just play one style. Players can't adapt. He's already fallen offside with a few players. It looks like Garnaccio's going to leave. If he does, that's another huge disgrace, because he's potentially world class in my eyes. Yes, he might have an attitude, but all the best players in the world have an attitude. You know, I think of Ronaldo, for example. Look at me, or you know, I'm the number one. So everyone's got an attitude when you're at that level and you've got that much ability. Yeah, so he's got offside with him. Rashford's not interested, or it appears he's not. He nearly lost Xerxes, and to me, as a coach, you've got to create the right environment so that your players are going to learn, they're going to grow, they're going to become better players. You're not going to lose your players. United aren't in a position to lose players of Garnaccio's quality. That's my opinion anyway. So so owners, I'd love to know. Somebody send a comment. How did I mean, I could Google it and find out, but please send me a comment. How did United end up with the Glazers? Really, I mean, it's shocking. But having said that, for me so far, Sir James Ratcliffe's not, you know, he's not doing anything fantastic in my eyes. I heard that he took away a £40,000 player for the old players fund. And back in the day, the old players never got a lot of money, and so he's pulled that out of the wages system, or out of the profit and loss, whatever you want to call it. So I just think that's really stingy, and I don't know why he's doing that, but he's gone and done it. Lots of the backroom staff, in terms of, like, you know, tea ladies, turnstile people, and the like. They've all gone. You know, there's no more free tickets if they get to Wembley, which that looks highly unlikely now. So these are the areas of concern for me. So I've already mentioned the owners, I've already mentioned the coach. Poor players, they're either not performing or they're poor players. I mean, they're all good players, but they're not world class. I can only think of, like I said, Garnaccio's got the potential. Dalad, is it? Ahmad Dalad, the young right winger, or right wing back. He's got some huge potential. I really like Manu. I think with the right coach, he can be world class, without a shadow of a doubt. Onana's going through a sticky patch, but I think he's got his heart in the right place when it comes to the club and wanting to learn and become a better player. I can't think of any more. And in that game against Brighton, for me, there were more Brighton players worthy of their status in the English Premier League than there were Man United. There wouldn't have been Man United players could get into Brighton's team, but the majority of the Brighton team could have got into Man United. Even Danny Welbeck can still do it. So well done to Brighton. Fantastic coaching. So the recruitment at Man U is absolutely poor. So these are areas of concern. And then just talking about Bournemouth, look at Bournemouth. You know, you never hear Areola complains. He never complains, just gets on with it. When he played the other week and they were short players, and yet they were sensational, absolutely sensational. So he just gets on with it, you know. You've got Arteta complains about injuries. You've got Amarin complains about injuries. Postecoglou you know, they're all complaining about injuries, but every club in the English Premier League suffers because of the intensity and the workload that the players have to go through. So you just got to get on with it. That's football. You know, and if you don't like it, then you know, you get sacked. A team that's doing brilliant, I've not mentioned them much, is Liverpool. I mean, you don't hear much from Liverpool apart from how good they're doing on the pitch. So Liverpool, brilliant. You know, City, yeah, they've been going through a tough spot, but they've got that much money. Eventually, they'll pay their way through it, which again is, yeah, is that fair? I don't know. We'll see. And then yeah, so really that's about it. So yeah, so please leave a comment, subscribe if you'd like. I'm trying to grow the channel because the coaching with young Cody, I mean, all that's free. So anyone who looks on, it's always going to take your time. It's just your time, that's all. So you're going to get free coaching, and you know, talking about, I'm just as much. I know just as much. I've got as much knowledge and experience as any coach here in Australia. So that's a bit blowing my own trumpet. But yeah, there might be people with as much. There will be definitely people as much, but nobody with any more knowledge or any more experience, because I've lived the game for so long. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So please share, pass on this some of these coaching vlogs, so that you can share with the young kids or the coaches of these teams, and there we go. And let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can grow this channel. If I can grow this channel, I'll promise that I'll improve the channel. I'll make the channel better, and I will keep giving shout outs to people from the past that I play with, people in the future that I want to try and work with and help, and there you go. So hopefully, like I said, look after yourselves, keep safe, keep healthy, and God willing, see you next time. Thanks very much. Tim over and out. Bye for now. Bye.